My topic is lymphatic systems. So, today I discuss about what is lymphatic system and its circulations, and also the component of the lymphatic systems and the function. So, let's start. Lymphatic system is the part of circulatory and immune systems. So, the question is, why the lymphatic system is the part of circulatory and immune systems? So, at first I tell why the lymphatic system is the part of circulatory systems. In the circulatory system, there are many arteries and veins, and through these arteries and veins, blood flow to the whole body. As the same things like the circulatory system apply in the lymphatic systems. In the lymphatic system, there are lymphatic vessels through which lymphs are flow almost in the body. In this, the important question is why I say lymphs flow in almost, but the lymph is not flow the full body because there are exceptions. The exceptions areas are central nervous systems and cornea of the eye, bones and superficial skin. In those areas, lymphs are not circulate. For that, lymphatic system is the part of circulatory systems. Next, why it is called the immune systems? Because in the lymphatic system, there are many types of cells are present. That cells are lymphocytes. It is the one type of WBC, white blood cells. And the functions of lymphocytes are it destroy the foreign antigens like the bacteria, virus. So, when the bacteria and virus enter into the lymphatic systems or lymph, the lymphocytes destroy the bacteria and virus. So, lymphatic system is the part of immune system. So, I think you all are understands why the lymphatic system is the part of circulatory systems and immune systems. So, what is the lymphatic systems? Lymphatic system is a network of the vessels. That means it is interconnected between the vessels through which the lymph drains from tissue to blood. That means through the interconnection of the vessels, lymphs are flow between tissue and blood. I discuss how it's occurred. So, in our body, there are many arteries are present through which blood flow heart to tissue. From the heart, blood flow through the large artery. Then it divided into the small arterioles. And these small arterioles also divided into the many capillaries. And these capillaries goes into the tissue. This is the arterial end and capillaries. And these capillaries goes into the tissue for giving nutrition like oxygen, glucose and other nutrient. And we all know the arterial end join into the vein that are the capillary end of the vein, that all are joined, and these all the capillary end of the vein are joined form a venous, and this is form a single vein. So the capillary end of the artery goes toward the cell or tissue, and in between the capillary end of the artery and the tissue there form a space that's called the interstitial tissue space. So, the arterial end of the capillary carry the blood from the heart and send the blood into the tissue space. In the capillary end of the artery, there are flow the blood cells and plasma. Every day, 20 liters of fluid leak from the capillary end of the artery to the tissue space. But the larger blood cells like the RBC present into the capillary end of the artery that are not leak in the tissue space because the capillaries are not much permeable to send the blood cells into the tissue space. In this 20 liters of fluid, there are present protein, glucose and nutrient. This fluid is called the interstitial fluid or tissue fluids. In this fluid also present cell substance like the cell debris that are the dead cells and also present bacteria and viruses due to any infection in the tissues or cell. Then 70 liters fluids per day return into the capillary venous systems. So what will happen? 20 liters fluids per day leak into the interstitial tissue space, but 70 liter fluid per day return into the capillary venous system. So 3 liter fluid remain present into the interstitial tissue space. So if the 3 liter fluids are not returned into the circulatory systems, what problem will occur? This 3 liter fluid can causes the water accumulations, and if the 3 liter fluids are remain present into the interstitial space, for that blood volumes are decreased. For that heart fails can occur. So it is mandatory to return the 3 liter fluid into the circulatory systems. For this, in the tissue space, there are present on another types of capillary systems that call the lymphatic systems or the lymph capillaries. And these lymph capillaries coming from lymphatic vessels, or these lymph capillaries are jointly made the lymphatic vessels. And when these excess 3 liters fluids are collected by the lymph capillaries, that's called the lymph, and this contain the proteins, cell debris and the bacteria, virus, colloid and micromolecules. So what is the functions of the lymphatic capillaries? It contains excess fluid from the tissue space and it's sent into the lymphatic vessels, and it also drain into the lymph full body toward the thorax. And these lymphatic capillaries are more permeable than the arterial capillaries or arterial end of the capillaries. It is the one layer cell thick as the same as arterial capillaries, but in lymphatic capillaries cells present by overlapping. So there are much gap between the cells, and by these gaps all nutrient and other substance like the bacteria and virus also carry by the lymph. So the questions are, why the bacteria and virus are collected by the lymph? So the answers are, in the lymphatic systems there are some lymphatic organs also present. In the lymphatic organ, these lymphs or fluids are filters, or by the lymphatic organ kill the bacteria or viruses that are present into the lymph. What are the components of the lymphatic system? First, lymph capillaries. I already told about the lymph capillaries. Then next, lymphatic vessels. In between the tissue there are many lymphatic capillaries, and these lymphatic capillaries join together and forming the lymphatic vessels. That's are the lymphatic capillaries, and they are joined together and form a lymphatic vessels, that are the lymphatic vessels. These lymphatic vessels carrying the lymph toward the thorax, and lymphatic vessel carrying the lymph always upward. and these limbs cannot backflow because in the lymphatic vessels there are present valves. Now the most important question is how the lymph is carried out by the lymphatic vessels. In the lymphatic vessels there are presence of muscles, and when the muscle is contract, these limbs are carried out. And by the side of lymphatic vessels there are also present artery and vein. So the lymphatic vessels are beating by the pulsation that are provided by the arteries and vein, which are passed side by side. For that, limbs are flow through the lymphatic vessels, and the lymphatic vessels become larger as they join together and eventually forming two large ducts. These are two large ducts. These are called the right lymphatic duct, and the left lymphatic ducts are called the thoracic duct. So the next components of the lymphatic system, that's a terminal lymph duct, that's a thoracic duct and right lymphatic duct, and these two ducts are empty the lymph into the subclavian vein. Next component is lymph. I already said about the lymph, the lymphatic organ. The lymphatic organ helps the immune systems, and in the lymphatic organ, lymphatic tissue is present, and this lymphatic tissue produce the lymphocytes and also help it maturation, and these lymphocytes kill the foreign antigen like the bacteria, virus. These lymphatic organs are two types, that's a primary organ and secondary organ. In the primary organ there are two types of organs are present, that's a bone marrow and thymus, and in secondary organ there are present lymph node and spleen. Now I discuss about the primary organ. In this organ lymphocytes produce and mature, and the primary lymphatic organs are bone marrow that produce the lymphocyte. Lymphocytes are two types, that are B lymphocyte and T lymphocytes. B for bone marrow. So the B lymphocytes are produced in the bone marrow and also mature in the bone marrow. But T lymphocytes are produced in the bone marrow but mature in the thymus. And these B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes come into the secondary lymphatic organ, lymph node. What is lymph node? In the lymphatic vessels there is presence of lymphatic nodes like the roof is tie, that are the lymph node. So the functions of lymph node to check the lymph if there are presence of any bacteria or viruses. If there is present any bacteria or virus, activate the lymphatic systems and destroy the bacteria or virus. Next, secondary lymphatic organ is spleen, that are present in a left hypochondrium region, opposite the levels of 9, 10 and 11 ribs. These are the lymphatic system in our body. These are the lymphatic capillaries and these are the lymphatic vessels. Lymphatic vessels become larger and they join together and eventually forming two large ducts. These are two large ducts, that is right lymphatic duct and that is thoracic duct. And these two ducts are empty the lymph into the subclavian vein, that's at the subclavian vein. These are the left subclavian vein. These are the right subclavian vein. And by this subclavian vein, limbs enter into the heart or the circulations or blood circulations. So these are all about the lymphatic systems and the circulations. And I also shortly discuss about the component of the lymphatic systems.